Welcome to Catch a Lift, 14 days to catch a lift. We're at day 13, a very special day in our family's history. It's a very hard day. 11 years ago, as many of you know, my brother Chris Coffland died in Afghanistan on November 13th. It's interesting that all these years have passed and we've come so far, and pain means so much to so many. It's an honor to be here with my family today. And we're going to touch on a little bit of what that was like. And then, of course, where we've gone in all those years and what we've accomplished as a family. So thank you for being here. It's a very special day. It's an honor to have my parents here today. My dad's been with me from the very beginning on Catch a Lift. He's been a huge support to me. I call him often with questions, and we've pushed on and moved forward, and we've changed a lot of lives in these 11 years. So with that, I'd like to ask my parents how they felt that day when I came down to give them the news about Chris. And as a parent, losing your youngest child of 5, what was that day like for you?
Well, it's a day that is etched in my memory for the rest of my life. When I saw you, I didn't comprehend why you were here. I thought something might have happened to Zoe since she was on a trip. But then when you gave us the sad news about Chris, it's surreal. It's something that, you hear it, but it doesn't really sink in. And it doesn't sink in for like a day or 2 days or 3 days. And then it really hits you after a while. And it's something that you never forget. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't pray or think about Chris. I miss him. I really miss him. I do miss him a lot. Dave?
Well, it's for me, it was shock and all. I couldn't believe it. There's no reaction to it. It just was like a blank wall came up, and I just stood there. I didn't know what to say. Didn't know how to react. Of course, never being in that situation, it's not like having some loved one that you've known for years that gets older and pass away. It's really a total shock to your system. And people react to it in a different way. My reaction was I just was actually dumbfounded. I didn't know what to do.
I often say that one of the hardest days in my life was when I had to drive those 3 hours to come tell you and Mom. So thanks for sharing that. I know that's a day that's indescribable in your life. Tell us a little bit about that. Laurie, what happened on that day for you?
I remember the day I had emailed Chris 2 days prior to him being killed, and I got an email back from him. And it was a Friday, I think it was a Thursday afternoon. I was reading the email to my boss at work. And then I got the call on Saturday. And at first I didn't believe what my mom was telling me. It didn't seem real. I had just spoken to him via email, and it didn't seem possible. And I remember just the fear of telling my children, because they were so close to Chris, that I didn't know how I was going to break that news to the children. And I really struggled with it for quite some time. And it was a very difficult thing to do. And it was, like my father said, absolutely surreal, devastated. I felt like a part of me had died that day as well. And it was a really difficult time. And through our family and friends and people that we knew was really a support for me, and that really helped me move forward.
Thank you, Laurie. I know that's hard to recount. So I think as a family, we can attest to the fact that we started something in his name. We wanted a legacy, and we had no idea that Catch a Lift would grow to what it did. We had hoped, and in the early days, from my basement, my dad from his home hand wrote, hand typed, and then hand wrote envelopes to every single VA in the United States and mailed those. And that's how we started telling people about Catch a Lift. So as you can see, it's an extremely grassroots foundation. It's completely done from love of our family and love from the loss of an amazing human being. And with that being said, let's touch on that now. We took that pain, as Chris often said, and we made it purpose. So, Dad and Mom, tell us a little bit about the purpose that Catch a Lift has given to your life. Is fact in the aspect of knowing that Chris's name lives on and helping others.
Well, it's a great honor. It really is an honor to us to know that Catch a Lift is helping so many, many, many boys and women, men and women in this that are disabled or suffering from many, many handicaps. I can't tell you how many people call me and say, I said hi to Chris today going across the bridge at Loch Raven that was dedicated to him. I have two very dear friends that live in the vicinity very near there, and they go over that bridge quite a few times, and they always say, there's Chris's bridge. So that's a great comfort to me as far as that is concerned. It's an honor. It really is an honor as a parent of Christopher to know that he is helping so many, many people that really need it. And I know that he would be extremely proud and happy to know that this legacy of his is doing so much good for everyone.
What I found, investigation when we first started and giving speeches and trying to have the correct input into a speech, when we started learning about exercise, and Lynn had made many visits to Walter Reed Hospital down in DC. The thing about exercise, getting the endorphins going in the brain again, that was a little skeptical in my mind, but then we started to find out that the more exercise people did, then the endorphins started going up and started combating the PTSD. And that alone, working with Lynn and all those people, when you realize that these people, the PTSD is severe, and there was over 40-some thousand wounded in the years since 2011 or 2011. Then the ability of these people to get back their life by exercise and commitment and things like that has made a big impact in the way that I felt about all this, and realizing that you're helping thousands and thousands of people is a tremendous legacy. That there's not a lot of people in the United States that's ever had that opportunity.
Thanks, Dad. Yeah, we're pretty proud about that, right? And so, with that legacy, Laurie, oftentimes she's in Baltimore with me and Catch a Lift, and she will come to our vet outreach evenings, and she helped us with those all the time and at events. But Laurie, why don't you touch on that and tell everyone what those vet outreach felt like to you, knowing that all the men and women we were calling that evening could have been, Chris we were calling, right? So,
Right.
like, what did that feel like?
Very, very intimidating at first because don't know really how to speak to veterans. I was very new to that. What a great group of people, volunteers that we have, that made all the phone calls. Basically, we worked on scripts, and a lot of the people would call the veterans, touch in with them, find out how they were doing, medications they were on, hours of sleep that they were getting, how they were working out. And after a few months, I would input all the data into the computer, and I would be reading over these scripts, and I would see, and every time someone spoke to a veteran and they had a good story, everybody would get so excited in the room, and we would be screaming, oh, he lost 50 pounds, or he's down to 50 meds from 150. And it was just a wonderful feeling. You actually see that this program is working, and it just comes together in a beautiful way. It seems very organic, and the people there are just there because they value the veterans that they're serving. And it's just a really beautiful thing to see how strangers can come together and make a difference in someone's life. That phone call to someone that might be struggling that day, as we've learned through the years that a lot of these veterans isolate. And when you isolate, it's very difficult to get out, and to just for them to answer a phone call is amazing. And I think for them to feel that they're not forgotten and that we have their back and we're here for them, and I think that speaks volumes of what Catch a Lift is based upon.
That's so great, Lori, because I'm glad that you experienced that with me. You know, it's something like sister to sister that feels really good when we're there together. And you touched on something that when you said strangers coming together. Can you just touch briefly on like what Chris was like as a stranger to so many, and when you got done talking to him, everybody said, "It's my best friend." So like, wait, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I think one of Chris's strongest attributes was that he had a gift to not only listen, he listened and asked questions. So he wasn't interested in his story, he was interested in your story. And if you had struggles, he was really interested in what the struggle was and how you overcame it, or what you're doing to overcome that struggle. That was a gift that not many people have. He had the capacity to really engage and listen. And I find that that is such a beautiful characteristic that is really not spoken about much. But he had, like I said, he just had a gift, that he was honestly engaged. And so many times I think people feel like they're not heard. And Chris had a way of making you feel like you were heard and important.
Oh, that was beautifully said. Now, okay, now I miss him even more. I had stuff to tell him. He's got to fix it. That's so true. That's beautifully said. Thanks, Laurie. I wanted to touch on something to Dad about his commitment and what it feels like in the brotherhood and, of course, now sisterhood of veterans. And as you served, and how that resonates with that brotherhood of having your back, and how you believe Catch a Lift gives that support, where it's peer to peer, man to man, or I should say brother to brother, sister to sister in the military.
Well, what I see with the Catch a Lift veterans, you know, from particularly not too long ago when we had the lift weekend in Baltimore, and I was there while they were working out. They really are tuned in to one another as far as Catch a Lift is concerned. How that relates when they were in the service, I mean, you know, I'm not really privy to how these things work nowadays in the Army or the Air Force or whatever. The things have changed a lot since 1957. And that's a big difference. And particularly our camaraderie was like, because we were a concise unit, and particularly my division, I had 60 or 65 people in it. They were all electronics oriented. We slept together for 3 years. And when you're sleeping together 4 inches apart, stacked up, you really become close in more ways than one. It's like ridiculous. But that really builds, because when you when you're trained well and you work well together, you just do. You don't think, and that's what training is. Now, when I see catch a lift veterans that are wounded and all, they're really working together, and you can see that they're longing for that camaraderie. They're longing to be together. The worst thing that I could visualize is being debilitated in so many ways, or with PTSD, living alone with your wife or children. They have no concept of what you've been through or what you're going to go through, and all there's insurmountable odds against you that you have to overcome. That's very hard, and I can see where all these veterans get together, our veterans, catch lift veterans, and how they support one another. And again, how all the people that you've been associated with, the girls, I call them at the office, have been marvelous to them.
Yeah, we have an incredible team. We're all virtual now, but we are a small team but mighty. I want to touch on just very briefly, the backbone of Catch a Lift is our American flag. It's what our men and women have sacrificed literally their bodies for and their minds for. So let me touch on that. Ask you to touch on, what's the American flag mean to you?
I'll probably start crying, because I cry every national anthem. I stand up, salute, and cry. I said things, well, I can't believe that people live in America, and I played college football, as you know, and participate in professional sports and become millionaires and won't stand and salute the flag or pay respect to the flag in a country that they live in. When we see people that are destroyed, die, supporting the country, suffer the rest of their life in support of the country, they should be groveling in front of that flag. And that's how strong I feel about the American flag.
Well, Chris and I always would, especially when we saw a Vietnam veteran or the flag and something with it, we would tear up. And so I know that he took after you with that, what that flag means to us. And Mom, do you have, how do you feel about the American flag when you see it, salute it, sing to it?
I feel very proud to be an American. I really do. And I have great respect for the flag, and I think everyone else should have great respect for the flag. And I think it's a symbol. It's a symbol of what America is all about. And that flag should mean a great deal to everyone, and it certainly does to us. I know on another aspect, when Dad and I go out and he wears one of his baseball caps and it might have an inscription on it about the USS Intrepid, I cannot tell you how many people come up to him and say, thank you for your service. So there are a lot of people that respect veterans, and I know they respect the flag, United States flag.
What do you got, Laura, about Old Glory?
I think for me, the American flag means it's a sign of beauty. It's a sign of freedom. It's a sign of sacrifice, growth, and I think integrity. I mean, it means everything. It's why we're here. We are very lucky to be living in the United States. The freedoms that we have, I think it's a real sign of just beauty and honor that we are here, and that we have men and women that provide us the security and the safety to live this way that we do. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Thanks, Laurie. So this is my last question. It's going to be hard, and it has to be one sentence. One sentence. when you do see Chris, if you do see Chris, if we see him, however we see him, whatever the good Lord intends, one sentence that you're going to say to him, or one first word, whatever it is, but just, you only have one sentence to say to him.
I got it.
Mom, you're the superstar, Mom. What do you got for him? Tell us, what are you going to say to your youngest boy?
I certainly am happy to see you. I've missed you a lot, and I'm glad that we're together again. And I love you.
Pop?
Ready? I don't know. Go ahead, somebody else.
Laurie, what would you say to Chris?
I would say, mate, you're not going to believe what Lynn has done with your name.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. He would be, he'd want to get lunch. That's all he'd want to do. Dad, why don't you close with what you'd say to Chris?
I'd say, thank God I've seen you again. I miss you like crazy.
Oh,
That's
nice.
beautiful. That's beautiful. It's very special to have had my family here tonight. And my brother David Coffland was not able to be with us, but he is also one of the four left. And we all know, the four of us knew that Chris was the favorite. So, but we're okay with that. He was that kind of
Yeah.
guy that we were okay that he was the favorite, and he'll always hold that title in our family. And we know he should be. It's the right title. So thank you for being with us. And day 13 is very, very special to us. 11/13. We want you to join us tonight if you can at our Jubilee. And we have more information on that on the website. But right now, I want to say to my parents, I love you all very much. Thank you for being with us on this journey and helping Chris save the lives of others through his sacrifice. And my sisters as well. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for doing this. I know it's a hard interview, and I love you all very
Thank
much.
you. And thank you for all you've done.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank my family, my husband, my girls, and especially to Lynn for all the hard work that she has. She's
Thank you, Mom.